Inside this tank lies a miniature world. Over time, it transformed from a barren wasteland to a thriving ecosystem. But can life truly find balance here, or is it all doomed to fail? To understand the journey, we need to rewind time, back to where it all began. It all started when I got the empty tank, and after getting a few basic supplies, I proceeded to add the foundation layer to the enclosure. After searching online for a few things to match the setting, I then proceeded to mix up some dirt and then build up the substrate layer within the tank. And just a few short days later, my package of supplies I ordered arrived at my doorstep. This is called Dragonstone, and these rocks will be the perfect addition to this new ecosystem. And they will also serve as the perfect foundation for a future empire of predators. After creating the bare bones of the tank and adding in some rock, I then proceeded to buy a whole lot of cacti and I began planting it in various parts of the enclosure, which proved to be quite a challenge. And after a few final touches and a few splinters from the cacti, the tank was nearly complete. Inside of this box is a bag of Australian desert sand, which is the last thing that I need for this build. After taking it out of the box, I planned on covering the surface area of the tank with a small layer of sand. I poured the sand carefully over the surface area, adding a top layer that instantly transformed the ecosystem. And after adding in a few final touches, the tank was finally complete. Pretty soon, life will begin to take root, and this tank will be the perfect foundation for a thriving ecosystem. This is our new ant colony. With their powerful sting and sharp mandibles, these ants will be the perfect first addition to our new world. All there was left to do now was to place the colony inside of the enclosure, and right as I placed the ants inside, they immediately swarmed and went into full-on attack mode. They weren't just exploring, they were invading, and they were ready to bite down and sting at anything that stood in their path. The ants were swarming every inch of their new home, and they were even trying to climb the glass. These ants are relentless, and I need to take extra precautions to keep them from escaping their home and taking over mine. So I placed them back in the tank where they belong. Better luck next time. The final step was to get the colony to move in, and to do this, I attached a heat mat to one side of the ecosystem to create a temperature gradient for the ants. With the ants now safe and sound back in their new home, I decided to leave the colony alone, and if everything goes to plan, they should relocate within the next few hours. A few hours later, and the glass jar was empty. I took a look around the enclosure, and there was no sign of the colony whatsoever, not even a single worker. Had they escaped while I was away? And then I spotted it. Tucked away in the far corner of the tank was a small hole in the ground. The ants had started building a nest. And as I looked closer, I realized that they'd been busy, building intricate tunnels and hidden chambers all around the ecosystem. Now that the ants had officially moved into the setup, I carefully removed the lid of the enclosure and I took out the now vacant glass jar. As a housewarming gift to the new arrivals, I gave them a feast of some maple syrup, protein, and some seeds, which I know this species really enjoys. A couple of hours later, I came back to check up on the colony, and while I was gone, they had completely filled up the feeding dish with debris. They did this to help soak up the syrup to make it easier for them to consume. I also dropped in a few pieces of rock sugar to see how they'd react, and sure enough, they covered those too. But oddly enough, the protein was completely untouched, but the seeds on the other hand were completely gone without a trace. So I took out the feeding dish, and I gave them what they clearly wanted, more seeds, and they were quick to notice. The ants will take these seeds back to their nest underground and use them to make something known as ant bread, which will act as nourishment to feed their hungry larvae. I have many more projects on the way, so if you enjoyed this one, please leave a like and subscribe to help me produce more content for you guys. And with that said, stay tuned for the next 100 days, where we will add more life to this ecosystem and truly put it to the test to see if it can survive the likes of time. I quickly want to thank you all for the recent support on the channel, and if you like what you see, click here for more.